true or false? You turned down an invitation from Mark Hamill to hang out while shooting The Last Jedi because you didn't want to break character of Kylo Ren.
False. I'm so glad you're asking me about that. Totally false. There's so many things in Star Wars that are totally false.
Yo people, welcome back. Now, Adam Driver has been speaking about Star Wars a decent amount recently, and he's been promoting his new movie Ferrari. In a recent interview, he gave us some inside information of the whole Star Wars hiring process, but most importantly, Kylo Ren's original storyline, and this is what he had to say.
And there was no script to read. That was part of the gig. You could get the part, but then after you agreed to do everything, then they put you in a tiny room and allowed you to read the script for the first time.
Like it's top secret, is what you're saying?
Oh yeah. JJ walked me through what he wanted to do with the character, but you had to sign up and be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do it.
But did you know? Did you know that at least you're playing Vader 2.0? Like at least did you know that conceptually?
I did. Yeah. And I had an overall arc that in mind that he wanted to do, which then changed, but his idea was that almost the opposite journey of Vader, where Vader starts the most confident, the most committed to the dark side, and by the last movie he's the most vulnerable and weak, and he wanted to start at the opposite, where this character was the most confused and vulnerable, and by the end of the three movies would be most committed to the dark side. So I tried to keep that arc in mind, regardless if that wound up not being the journey anyway, because it changed, obviously, as we were shooting.
Yeah, right. When did it change?
Well, with Ryan, he took it into a different direction, but still it kind of still tracked with the character. Then the last one, it changed into being, about them and the dyad and things like that, and kind of evolving into Ben Solo. That was never part of it.
That wasn't either.
No. Because Ben Solo, he was Ben Solo from the beginning, but it wasn't. It was never a version where we actually see Ben Solo when I first signed up for it.
What a disgrace from Disney. Whenever one of the main actors or actresses from the sequel speaks about the actual sequels, we always get the same overall message. Disney had no clue what they were doing and made everything up as they went along. That is why those films are so trash, and people have the nerve to defend that. You can say all you want about George Lucas's dialogue, but I'd rather have crap dialogue than a story that self-destructs, contradicts itself, and makes absolutely no sense. And you have to start filling in all the blanks by yourself in your imagination or read about 50 billion books. So Kylo Ren was originally going to be the reverse Vader. Vader starts the original trilogy being in his prime dark side, the most loyal to the dark side, and throughout the trilogy we see him distance himself gradually, ending with him being redeemed in the end. The reverse of that for Kylo Ren would have been really cool to see if they doubled down on it and fully committed, which it didn't seem like they did after Force Awakens. In The Force Awakens, we see an unsure, insecure character who is always forcing himself into this what would Vader do kind of mindset, but trying to do his own thing at the same time. He doesn't seem emotionally ready for all of this anyways in The Force Awakens, but it would have been nice to see him get even more corrupt as time goes on, kind of like Anakin in the prequels, but I feel like they could have honed in on this a lot more, especially with an actor like Adam Driver. Don't get me wrong, Hayden is great, but he had to do stuff to suit the already existing Darth Vader character. With Kylo, it was a fresh canvas, and it ended up being a lot of wasted potential. That Kylo storyline would have been very good to see, and again, more poetry as George Lucas would have liked. We can see that these things were already low-key being set up as well, with Kylo killing his father. Han Solo was like the first official step into the dark side. I know he already had a red lightsaber, which is technically the first official thing, but even then it was a crackling lightsaber, which is a sign that he didn't even bleed his lightsaber properly to get to the proper lightsaber texture or look, whatever you want to call it. So it would have been cool to see that change at some point as time went on. When he's at his peak dark side, the crackling stops, which would have been very symbolic. Just a small detail. To be fair to Rian Johnson, as much as he is an idiot, he even made Kylo Ren kill Snoke, which positioned Kylo nicely as the main villain at that moment. He then had his duel with Luke, although I thought it was stupid because it resulted in Luke's death coming from him teleporting his presence instead of him doing something more heroic in the flesh. That would have built up Kylo even more, being responsible for the death of two iconic characters, Han Solo and Luke Skywalker. And like I mentioned about the lightsaber crackling moments ago, after Luke's death, If they showed his lightsaber turn normal after that event, I think that would speak volumes about how corrupt he is, and it would show that he kind of enjoyed killing Luke. Even Anakin himself, after killing all those Jedi, the younglings, he was crying, he was doubtful. So if we saw Kylo just glad to have wiped out his father Han Solo and his uncle slash master Luke Skywalker, that would have been something fresh. But nah, whenever they got something good going or something semi-decent, especially something involving a villain, they always do this wish-wash flip-flop behavior where someone's gonna be evil and then, oh no, let's not do that. We can see it with Reva in the Kenobi show, we can see it with Iden Versio in the Battlefront 2 story mode, but yeah, Kylo in the 9th one got made to take the backseat once more instead of being the main guy, but this time for a Palpatine clone, which makes Snoke's death absolutely pointless. The main villain heading into the 9th film should have either been Kylo Ren, the big main villain as originally planned, or Snoke, but they ended up doing neither. I personally think that The Last Jedi is the worst Star Wars movie, and Rian Johnson is Kathleen Kennedy's yes man, but at least he set up Kylo decently well for the last film, and that's why Kylo's character is most people's favourite, because it was the storyline that got wrecked the least. Even saying that, there was so much more to dive into with his character, since he was the only character who knew all the original trilogy characters from when he was younger, and we could have got some nice emotional flashbacks and see him turn those happy memories with Luke, Leia and Han into rage, anger, jealousy, hate, and he would have got even more heat as the villain of the story in general. But yeah, let's just leave it there. As always, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, drop a like on the video, sub to the channel if you haven't already. We are so close to the 500 subs goal. Thank you for your time and have a great rest of your day.